This video would not have been possible without our sponsor, LDO Motors, so thank you to them for supporting live streams on Vector 3D. For more information on their VORON v0.1 kit and other products, keep on watching or follow the link in the video description. Right, good evening everyone and welcome back to another live stream assembling the adorable little VORON v0.1 kit from LDO Motors. Last time was fun, wasn't it? So we did the AB motors, we finished the Z-axis, the lead screw, and we did all the belts. We got this carriage assembled and in there too. Might have made a muck up of the belts, but they're fine now. Everything's working. It was just a bit difficult with the very short lengths that I cut for myself. Silly me. So today, as it says in the title, we're doing the bed, which I've got right here. We're doing, what did I put the title? One of those things. Extruder, so the kind of hot-ended extruder assembly for pushing the plastic out the little hole. And then all the wiring as well. Feeling ambitious today. We've got 3 hours. Hopefully it's enough time to get most of that stuff done. Oh, I just love the look of this thing, don't you? Anyway, time to get started with the bed first. So we'll just resume as normal. Good evening everyone, by the way, and welcome to any new people. Good evening Twitch, good evening YouTube. Not the business, just the people watching on those various platforms. So the bed actually comes with two surfaces in this kit. We've got a smooth PEI, which is just single-sided. It has this really nice kind of logo stuff on the front as well. Very nice and tidy. And then we got a textured surface, powder coated PEI, presumably. Kind of beautiful gold colour. Again, with some little logos on the front, just makes it look kind of nice. And then we got the magnetic sheet, which needs to go on there. And then this whole thing comes pre-assembled. So you've got 24 volt, 60 watt heater. Adorable. That comes literally glued to this with the RTV silicone all on it, so you don't have to mess about with that. And the thermal fuse already placed here as well. We do have an earth cable which we can put in. I'm not sure if it's really needed when it's not a mains powered bed. I think we might put it anyway if we feel we need it. I'm not totally sure, but we've got that option if we want it. And then everything else is kind of pre-crimped, pre-ready to go. The thermistor isn't, and I think that's just because it's easier to poke the whole thing through little holes without the end on. So that's that. You will build a VZ bot once. I'm not sure what a VZ bot is. I'm not sure an earth's really needed for low voltage. So let's, oh, hello, okay. So we've also got, no, this is fine for now. So yes, bed assembly. I'm going to be keeping the instructions up, just that's what I like to do. So we actually have, so the normal kit comes with, obviously you want to do the heated inserts and those plastic knobs, but this kit from LDO comes with these small thumb wheels, so I'm going to plan to use these. They are quite small. I'd quite like something larger to be honest, but I think this is what these are for, so we'll give these a go because they're included. And I haven't printed those parts, so we can't use them. Orientation of the build plate. The side with a single hole is the front. The counterbores are on the top of the build plate. Clean the plate with IPA or similar prior to applying the magnet. Use the edge of a plastic object or a small roller to firmly press the magnet on the plate to get a good bond. So this magnetic sheet doesn't have holes pre-made for the holes, so we're going to have to deal with that. I need to get some IPA. Fortunately, it's close at hand. Oof. Now I'm assuming with the sticker still being on here, this should be rather clean, but we're going to clean it off anyway. VZBot from Vez 3D. Well, always looking for projects for things to assemble. I'm making somewhat of a habit of doing live streams of assembly and rather enjoying it, so the more things we can assemble, the better. Yep, as suspected. Still quite dirty. Because although it's got the plastic on, obviously it's still been manufactured. So all that waste is still on here. This is why we make it nice and clean. Still pretty grubby, but I think I'm going to be happy with that. Made a mistake once of leaving a soaked IPA towel on the table, and it just kind of dissolved the surface and then dried, and then the towel was just stuck to it. So on my desk over here, I think it's under something, there's just like bits of blue paper permanently stuck to the desk. Anyway, for these corners, I don't really want, I mean I've probably made this dirty already by putting this on it. I do have a punch. I could punch a hole that's this size. I'd probably mess up the location. Or I could cut out the corners. It's going to need something, that's for sure. And I probably want to do that before it's stuck on here. I think we might just, what does it suggest? Not a lot really. I mean, there's holes in it on that one. Drill holes, no, punch holes, it's soft. Yeah, come on, let's do it. I'm just going to get some hole punch things. They're like stuck in a tiny little box at the back of the thing somewhere. I'll get a whole bunch and hopefully one of them will be the right size. So these are the kind of hole punch things I'm talking about. So it's kind of sharp on one end, you'll whack it with a hammer and it makes a hole. So we want a size that's about similar to this probably. The chances of getting it in the right place seem slim to none, don't they? I guess we could just wing it and hope for the best. Kind of want to protect my desk a little bit. I'll provide a warning now though, for anyone wearing headphones, this could make a rather loud bang. So could I do it? I've got one hammer. It's a wooden surface, I could just do it on the edge of this. Piece of paper, trace the holes. Are we going to get real technical about this? I was just going to wing it, but... You're right, I'm going to get a piece of paper. Right, got to get some tape. What's the chances this goes well? I think no matter how much effort we put into this, it's still going to go wrong. And I was not planning to take half an hour to do this, but there you go. Let's use this as a rough indicator of the size. Is that going to be okay? Got to be a bit, yeah, that's all right. Oh. I feel like we're going super overkill with this now. Right, I'm going to have to tape the corners, I think, because otherwise it's not going to work at all. Oh, it's not the... That's why I couldn't find the hole, because there's only one right at the front in the middle. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of ways I could mark this. I might just go for the very simplest point in the middle. In fact, I think what I've just done there, okay. I'm sure you're all going to complain about the way I've done this. But I was going to freehand it, so there you go. It's probably going to be better than that. Warning, headphone users. Table survived. That's one hole. And two's not gone quite through, I don't think. And that one's gone quite through either. It's just the side of this hammer and not too protective, so. There we go. So now this should go perfectly over those 3 holes. Oh, that's interesting. On this one we've cut through the magnet but not through the adhesive. There's a tiny bit of adhesive just left there. Don't want to push too hard onto the things on the back of the heater, so I'm just going to hold it in my hand while I do it. I'd say that's damn near perfect. Holes perfectly positioned. Magnets should just... Beautiful. Ooh, it's good. Well, that was... that didn't take too long, really, did it? Surprisingly quick. Probably don't need these hammers now, though. That moment when the hammer is actually larger than the printer. So, now that we've got that on, we've done, this is already done, this is already done. So, M3 by 40 screws. And some M3 lock nuts. I don't know what temperatures it can handle, but I'm assuming something like 100, 110 for ABS. Oh, lock nut. I've got to do those lock. Look how far I've got to push this bloody nut. And then, oh no, it's going to be 2 mil, isn't it? The heater is Kinovo, yeah. But I don't know if the magnet is made by Kinovo as well. I don't think it is, or even supplied by. Well, I don't know, to be honest. But this is going to make my hand cramp if I do this, so I'm not going to do that. We're going to find an alternative way. So, I didn't put a washer on. I should have put a washer really, but let's take that off of drill mode into torque mode. There we go. If you've got torque settings on your power tools, it's really not that bad. Your control is definitely more consistent. So this is now on a torque limiter, and I believe the values are Newton meters. So this will be limited at the moment to 2 Newton meters. I don't know that it's Newton meters, it might just be power level, which is probably far more likely. Oh, come on. The thing I don't like, I need a spannery thing really, probably be better, but adjustable things are just always rubbish. There you go, you can hear that torque thing at the end. There. So when it gets to a certain amount of torque, it just slips, so you can't over tighten. I got one quicker because sponsorship. That's what you get for using every single weekend for the last 6 years making YouTube videos. Not worth it in my opinion, but, or hardly worth it I should say. Screws are getting really hot doing this. Unsurprisingly, it's a lot of friction. We're in. We've got some hot screws, but we're in. Don't know why I just try to pull that out. Got a bloody chuck at it. Right, 32 minutes in, we haven't even got the bed in yet. It's going to be a real stretch to get all this stuff in today, I think. The wiring is, I know everything's like pre-wired, but still, it just always takes longer than you think. Fully tighten the lock nuts to prevent the screws from rotating. Done. So bed springs, nuts, and position the bed. So there's some like convenient pockets that these are going to sit in. You've just saved a 3-hour live stream on preparing the bed. Yeah. So we got the connector here for the thermistor wires. I realised the reason they're not connected, at least for some of them, is because you have to poke them through holes. So I believe for the drag chain, it's going to be easier to do with the terminals rather than with the connector on as well. Or the connector may only barely just fit, so that's why it's left separate. Not just because they can't be bothered to put it on. I think it's the same for one of the end stops and something else, because you have to poke it through a little hole in the panel, so it's easier to do without the connector on. Easier or not possible or whatever. So wires over here. I believe, don't they go through this hole? They look like they should go through that hole there. I'm going to poke them through there. Surely what that's for. Can we see what's going on? Can't see. Oh, that's not worked. I'm not really too worried about what the tension is on these screws at the moment. I'm just doing them enough so they don't come back off again. We'll obviously have to do some bed leveling at some point. I'm imagining it should be fairly easy to level given how teeny tiny the bed is. Can you imagine having like a 7x7 BL Touch probing on this bed? Oh, it'd be hilarious. Anyway, note on heat bed wires and cable chains. The heat bed that we specify in our sourcing guide has individual wires. This allows for an easy installation into parts and cable chain. If you have a different model, next steps might not be as easy. So we've got some channels, looks like, I believe in the wiring kit probably we've got some, yep, zip ties. Probably shouldn't have been so generous with that throw. I found a way to monitor Twitch chat as well now, so anyone that's using Twitch, feel free to chat away and I should be able to see it. I don't know, presumably you can tag me the same way you can on the YouTube chats. How are we gonna... I kind of wanted to do this, but you can't really see much from that angle, can you? Have to try and poke it in from that angle. Can you see there? Can you tell what it is yet? I don't know if this was meant to go through that hole at the bottom. Maybe it was just supposed to go around the side, but I've done that now. That's a thing. Ooh. I'm not going to do the earth wire ground for the bed. It doesn't seem necessary, as it's not mains. Got a bit of a runny nose, I'm afraid. Give me 2 seconds. Hello June, I see you in Twitch chat. I'm not very good at monitoring it still. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm good at monitoring any chat, but at least I can see it on the screen. So this now needs to go up through this drag chain somehow. I think it's going to be easier. I'm not really sure, and I don't know quite how many links I want. You follow her? Mending Loon. I don't know how many of these links I want in the drag chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is on there at the moment. I'm thinking the easiest way to install it is going to be to poke the wires through the chain while it's not installed. And then when it is... Jason, good evening. Yeah, so I think if I poke these through here and then install the chain, I'm thinking that might be the easiest way to do it, because I think throwing these through a bendy chain is going to be my worst nightmare. So as long as I can do the clips afterwards, which I think I should be able to. Oh no, that's not right. Ah, does the end have a loop on it? No, it doesn't. Okay, we're good. So let's get this label through as well. So we've got a nice label for our cable down at the control board, so we know what we're plugging in where. It'd be good if I could show what I was doing, wouldn't it? That's why we have two cameras, so back up in case I point at the wrong thing. Sorry, if I'm sniffing of the stream, that's not going to be very pleasant for anyone, is it? I do apologise. It's literally just started, I was fine before. Here we are alone. You're not... Oh, yeah. You're referring to my announcement, I think. Oh, that was painless. Right. So if I put that up over there. I'm not sure where you're going to be able to see what's going on. I think I want the bed lower at the moment. I know this is probably not very healthy for the components, but I need as much space as I can get. Am I putting this on the right way around? I think so. And then pokey that through there, pokey that through there. It doesn't open up, no, it's a closed chain. Oh. That's not really been a hindrance though, to be honest, on this point, on this. Putting those cables in was pretty easy. So that's all in, that's pretty, let's get this back up to the top just to check we've got sufficient length. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Well, that turned out much easier than I expected it to. So let's tidy these runs up. What I would like, which doesn't seem to be here, is a way to hold the drag chain down. When you put cables through a drag chain, they should really be zip tied or otherwise clamped to a non-moving surface at both ends. So I'm going to utilize this hole that's here to at least have some form of organising clampy what's it for these wires. Obviously that's not the fault of the kit, by the way, that's a design aspect, it's not missing parts, they're just, the design has not accounted for that aspect. And I believe they should have done. There you go. Nobody's perfect. Is that going to be a problem if I put that there? How much of that Z motion actually gets used? Push it all the way down again. Oh, there's rubber stops there. Those need to come out. Right, that was the bottom of the travel, so yeah, wiring's absolutely fine for that. First time chat from HD Tech. Chat free chat. Sure. Oh, as in there's not many people. Yeah. I'm quite new to streaming on Twitch, so maybe we'll do a Twitch exclusive stream at some point. Get some more people on Twitch. I'm sure it'll make all the YouTube people mad, but there you go. Right. The bed surfaces, I'm going to leave out the way for the moment. We don't want to get them greasy or anything, so we just want to keep them safe. Safe and out of the way. So drag chain all down next. Let's zoom out that a little bit. End stops and rear panel. Let's get that rear panel out the box. What did you make your black parts out of? You mean the printed parts? They are ABS Plus, eSun ABS Plus. That looks Like it, the aspect ratio looks different, but yes, that is it, isn't it? Is that going to go that way round, that way round? Not a clue, but that is the right part. We need the end stops as well. And of course, because it's all pre-made, we've got the wires already attached. End stop X. I don't know which ones we're going to be doing. Z. Y. I mean, we'll do all of them at some point, obviously. It's not going to be much of a printer if we have no way to detect where home is. I mean, obviously you've got senseless homing, but there you go. We'll leave that there for now. Prepared 2 end stop switches for X and Y. So we don't want Z at the moment. Which one's Z? That one. So I don't really need to do the preparation. They're pre-prepared. So 2 by 10mm screw, self-tapping. Not M2, is it really? So one there and 2 for there. So mind the switch orientation, pay attention to the position of the switch lever. So it's in the middle of the carriage, so there. Difficult to see, isn't it? No, back to tiny. No, yeah. Also, we want to be really careful not to strip these parts because being self-tapping, they're quite an aggressive thread. So if you overdo it, you'll probably end up stripping the material out and then you won't be able to screw it to anything. So that should tap that screw. Very nice. And then we've got one that's tucked away weirdly in the back here. Up here. Y, and that lever is pointing upwards, so that direction. Screws don't go through, why not? Yeah, self-tapping screws is never really a favourite, especially for maintenance kind of tasks where you could be replacing stuff more than once. I guess end stop switches quite unlikely to fail. Oh goodness me, I can't even get them in straight. This is really difficult position. I'm going to have to avoid the camera angle, I'm afraid, in order to try and get these at least partly straight. strangely as well, I think this is just going to be, the homing is just going to be onto the carriage, onto the like aluminium extrusion. Seems an odd way to home, but I guess if it works, it works. It's in there. I know you can't really see it, but it's that little switch in there. Difficult to show because everything's super tiny. And I mentioned everything's tiny. Everything's tiny. Had you noticed? And we've got another switch. So we've got a mount here. And a switch. So how does this go on? That way, and then that way. Oh, this one's pushed through. It's weird why the other ones didn't. No, this one doesn't. Tolerance, I guess. Why am I not just using this? And then we need some nuts and some M3x10 screws. So by the looks of it, we can just slide this straight on the top, so I'm going to prepare it with the nuts on to prevent me losing the nuts down the extrusion as I mount it. That looks like a very real possibility. Oops, amazing. There you go, just enough. This music's a bit much. Okay, that's like literally the opposite, but okay. So it looks like this cable points upwards. How do I show this? There's so little space. I hadn't considered when building a tiny printer that actually filming the blooming thing was going to be the challenge. So sticking it in here, hopefully. Something like that. Holy balls. Is that really right? That looks right. How are you supposed to adjust? I think it's a couple of millimeters from the top, right? So something like that. Definitely need the maximum capability of the ball end to tighten those in, but they are there. Job's a good one. Another thing to wire in. It does look bigger in the manual. The manual's obviously zoomed in to make it look easy. And then you get to real life and it's like, all these tiny little pieces at the tips of my fingers. The two M3 nuts, rear panel, flip the printer, aligning the preloaded nuts into position is easier if you don't have to fight gravity. Yep, that's pretty much true for the whole printer. That way up, and then we've still got to deal with the nuts. That looks incorrect. This, I believe, has got to go this way. Ah, and that Z end stop cable looks like it wants to come straight through the back rather than up and over. So we're going to pull this through here. That's never going to work. How am I supposed to do this? Can you zoom in with your front camera? No, unfortunately not. I can move it closer, and that's... I'm not sure if that's better. So we need M3x6 screws. Oh, I've already used M3x6 screws on the nuts that are preloaded, so let's take all of these out. Ooh, nearly sneezed, but didn't. Something tells me aligning these nuts is going to be a bit of a challenge. So it's the top one either side. This is going to take a while, isn't it? More than that. I know this needs to come down here. This one goes to here. Goes to here. No. Okay, can I use tweezers to get it the rest of the way? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bang in with a... Not sure what these two holes are for. Seems a bit odd because I'm not going to be able to use them for anything once I've got this in. Bizarre. Huh? Oh, is this one of those situations where the screws don't reach? I'm going to guess that the panel is slightly thicker than original, so we're going to switch to M3x8s. I think that'll be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to take a while since the punchline of this build. Yeah, you just get that feeling when things are going to be like difficult to put where you need to put them. Vector 3D, Z-axis with belts versus lead screws. Thoughts for a bigger printer? Well, depends. If you're moving a very heavy bed, lead screws can definitely, that's a bold word to use, typically provide much more force, especially for a similar price. But is slower. I mean, there's a lot of things that depend, really. One advantage you get with a belted Z is that you can do very fast Z hops. Because this acrylic, I don't want to go too high, too eager with the screwing. Acrylic can be quite brittle. Z ends top wires. Yes, I did remember to bring those through. Right, print head. Just admire our handiwork and then we'll move on. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Doesn't it look gorgeous? Right. I think now is probably a good time to do a quick sponsor segment. I'm going to have a quick break as well, literally a couple of minutes. The sponsor segment tends to go to like a blank screen after it's finished, but I will be back just maybe 30 seconds after it's done. This video would not have been possible without our sponsor, LDO Motors. LDO Motors are well known for their quality stepper motors that feature in many 3D printers, but did you know they also do complete kits for VORON 3D printers? Their VORON v0.1 kit has everything you need, with the exception of the printed parts, taking sourcing from your living nightmare to the easiest part of the process. LDO's focus on quality means that you don't need to worry about component choice. This kit includes genuine Bondtech gears, Big Tree Tech control board, Phaetus hot end, pre-installed Kinovo heater with thermal fuse, stainless steel linear rails, and a beautifully anodized extrusion frame available in 7 different colours. With every kit you'll also get their brass heat insert tool, which, when fitted to a soldering iron, is the ideal partner for adding threaded inserts to your printed parts. If you're after an entryway into high-performance 3D printing, check out the VORON v0.1 kit from LDO Motors via the link in the video description, or carry on watching to find out more. So let's get on with the extrudery parts. Now I'm going to do something which may or may not be a good idea. I'm aware that there are some extra logo bits that we can put on, and I don't know what temperature super glue, cyanoacrylate, or however you pronounce it, CA glue, what temperature that can resist. So this may be unwise, but I'm going to presume it is quite temperature capable. So I'm going to glue on some little logo bits to the front of the, I think we're going to use the green one. The black would look pretty cool. Ooh, I want to use the black one. Well, we'll glue on these ones to this, because these logo bits are black, so they won't really work on the other one. Need to heat them a little bit. These probably could look better, to be honest. EVA is the extruder system used for the VCore 3. There we go. Don't know if that's going to hold. It might not. But at least I've tried. So let's rebag. Get this glue out of the way. Rebag the parts that I'm hoping not to need. go with that light green. Not this one, not that one. I feel like this can't possibly be all the parts, but it looks like it might be. Oh no, it has this, we want the black one I think, don't we? Oh, yep. £2 of super chat from last stream gone. I don't know, what do you mean? It's still showing on the screen. Oh, because it shows only 4.98. I don't know. That's weird. Not sure. You've been taxed 2p, maybe. Hated inserts. Oops, daisy. Probably not good to keep the IPA next to the heat gun. Doesn't seem like a safe idea. Not on that part. The other one's on this. It's going to be hopefully hope for the best, this one. That it? Looks like it. Can't believe this whole thing goes together with 3 screws. That looks like it needs one. I don't know. No, maybe not. It's ABS. You could have used acetone to bond them. Oh, these. One of them's ABS plus. I don't know how well that responds to acetone. Heated insert. Oh, we have got more heated inserts. Why are they not on the first page? Right, back to this. More to the point, why did I not check other pages before putting it away? Are there more? It's like spoilers, isn't it? Scrolling ahead in an assembly manual. Back we go. Right, back to here. That gets hot. Who'd have thought? Thanks for letting me know just after I did exactly the same thing. Right, Bontechy pieces. So we got genuine Bontech parts for this, because that's what LDO gives you. So no knockoff stuff. These are the real dealio. That's all. We need these two little things too. So we've got some lubricant somewhere. Lubricate the bearings. So I'm going to lubricate to the inside. And then I'm going to whiz it around like that. I'm going to do the same with the other one. And then stick that through there, that through there. These both the same? No. This is the idler. What are the print sizes of a VORON v0.1? It's 100 millimeters cubed, if I'm not mistaken. Check the orientation. Yep, we're good. Everything's ruling okay. Short end of the shaft. With this thing, we've got some other little bearings in here. Whoop. Roller bearings rolling. Check the short end of the shaft. If it's longer than 3 millimeters, shorten it to under 3 millimeters. The design for a printed jig is included on the released files. Oh, that's what this thing I think is for. Doesn't fit. Great. That one fits. And it looks to be under 3 millimeters, so we're good. The bearings must slip on and off the shaft easily to allow the gear to self-center. Do not shim into position. Yep, that one moves nicely. That one moves nicely. That's touching the part somewhere. I'll see what it's like when we've got it all assembled. So we need PTFE tube. I made a little jig for this. It doesn't look like much, but it's that. So it's basically a little kind of tube thing. So once we put the tube where we need it, so we're going to use this. Where's it going? What are we supposed to be sticking this in? Is this? I was expecting that to go like up into there. It doesn't really go up into, it literally just stops immediately there. So the plan was, well, first we need to cut the end square because it's a bit wonky at the moment. And then we go, please fit. It's a bit tighter than I expected. That is a very short piece of tube. Looks like previously it used to go further up into here, but it's literally just a millimetre there. So we need a grub screw. A grub screw. That was not in here. We're really down to macro stuff now. Yep, so a bit of extra this. It's still going green, my Loctite. I don't know if that's, I think it's just because the oil from the screws just got into it. So how do we assemble this? So it looks like that side, and then this goes through something here, and that goes through through from there. The drive gear is mounted opposite of how it is usually mounted in an extruder. Make sure that the grub screw has sufficient contact with the flat. Looks like it might. I'm assuming I'm supposed to put this flush, so in here, can you see? Yeah, so I'm mounting the Bondtech gear flush to the, well, they're both Bondtech gears, but the silver one flush to the black one, and then making sure that this is tightened. Looks about right. Oh, there's a little space on theirs, but they've not made that clear what that space is supposed to be, so not much I can do about that. So we've got fans in here. I think the fans are in here. The fans are in here. Oh, so looks like two of these fans are wired together. They're spliced. Orient the fan in such a way that the air is pushed into the cowling. You'll find small arrows on the fan indicating the airflow direction. So, but this one looks like it wants to go down that way, but the wire comes out that way. I'm confused. That's the back of that fan, isn't it? Come on, in you go. Nice, isn't it just lovely when things work out nicely like that? Fan. Don't know where the cable's meant to go. Sun on maglev fan, so decent quality fan, that's good to see. Oh, there is a space here for the wire. I doubt it's going to stay there as we put this other fan in, but... Orient your fans in such a way that you can guide the wires in the highlighted path. Excellent, I just noticed the same thing. Insert the fan at an angle, angle the fan and clip in place. Yep. And then other fan. Oh no 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 no. Oh, please come out, please come out, please come out, please come out. Oh no 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 no. Oh, bollocks. I think my wires were not quite in the right place. There we go. Feel like it wants to go further than that, but I don't know. You can see there it's not quite aligned with the hole in the shroud, which makes me think it needs to go further, but I don't know quite how I'm going to achieve such a feat. I'm going to assume that's going to be okay. Because quite honestly, I don't think I'm going to get it any better. Yeah, there probably is a wire trapped in there somehow, but it's very difficult to We're in. Tweezers, 100% needed for this build. 100%. Right. Hot end. Where is it? I've got this beautiful looking Dragonfly BMO, whatever BMO stands for. It's a shame it's not green. Presumably this just comes off. Nice. We're going to need to put the hot end and the hot end. We're going to need to install the thermistor and heater cartridge now as well, I suspect. Did I already get them out? I did, they're right here. Yeah, okay, so the hot end fan is 5 volts, the others are 24. Got some access. Oh, it came with a wrench. Thermal grease. Goodness me, comes with a whole load of stuff. What about, this is getting intense. Okay, that's if you're going to use a bead, but we're not. So no need to worry about that. We do need these screws that are in here, I guess. Although there are some M2.5s that come with it, so it might be that we're using those instead. Button heads, yeah, these are cap heads, so it's not those. Presumably we need the button heads for their lower profile. The next question is, which side does the heater and thermistor come out of? No immediate indication. Oh yeah, I could have, well, I didn't have them at the time, so. How does this hold in? Oh, the screws at the bottom, okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna be right back. I'm going 2 seconds. back on here. Block points towards the open side. Yeah, this button tube is definitely going to be way too short. It's got to go all the way in there by the looks of it. Is this supposed to be a different blooming screw? No. What is it? I think. Oh. Yep, definitely going to need a different length tube, so. How the dickens is supposed to get that in? It's still too long. Okay, that looks like it's going to fit. Heater and sensor. We do not show the heater and temperature sensor cartridge in the drawing. Install them prior. We are showing Dragon. Tool heads for other items are included. Use a ball end driver. Check orientation. Yep, we're good. direct feed, R85 bearing. Need something to force that in gently. I need a bit more persuasion. Need a bigger round thing that I can shove it in with. Close, but no. Close, but still not quite. Who's the oxymoron now? M3 by 35. Treated M true to front. And then this idler goes on this. Ah, there was something somewhere. Here we go, yes. So there's some smoother screws, and I think this is what this is for. M3 by 35. 3 pieces. Can't be needed for all of them. 3 by 35. So it's a button head screw, but I think it's supposed to help protect the idler. I guess they include 3, so everything at the front matches. And then this in here. And they seem to say that this just goes on. No, it can't be that way, this way. don't see how my PTFE tube is supposed to fit. It's got to be below that point, otherwise it's never going to go in. But it looks to be the right length. I think I've accidentally succeeded there. Bit of a brute force approach, but I've sort of solved it. I don't normally brute force it. Yeah, so it'll be 20mm screws then. Go at the front, because we've got two smooth 20mm. Maybe by 30 yet. Screw. Check for binding. Turn the gear and check if there is any binding or snags. Disassemble the tool hinge and inspect if required. The drive shaft must not extend past the printed body as it would rub on the motor. It does not protrude. And it is binding. Excellent. It's literally constantly grinding on a plastic part. Right, this could be where the stream starts to take a very long form turn, because this doesn't look good. Time for a quick sponsor segment, I think. How many have I done? 1, 2. I think I've done 2, haven't I? No idea where this is rubbing, but it's rubbing. Let's try a different part. I printed more than one of these. Let's just see if a different one acts any differently. To me, it just seems like the... yeah, so it seems like the diameter of the shaft and the idea of the bearing are so different that the whole axle can just wobble in the bearing to the point where the gear actually just rubs around the edge, kind of the side of it can just move and hit there. Just bump up the stepper amp so you'll soon clear yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's the brute force approach, right? It's just kind of frustrating. Let's get a piece of filament and see if we can... I guess you can't really test it like that because it doesn't have the bearing on the other side, so it's never going to sit quite right. So I think we can go back to the other one because this one's no better. What did I do with the other one? It's here. Are the instructions better? Yeah, I'd say so. I think. Maybe I'm just a bit more used to their style. Oops. Oh no, no, I've lost the little Peter feed washer. Found it. I mean, this is literally clicking. Right, hopefully that's going to wear a little mark and we can inspect where it's touching. Yes, it doesn't sound good. It's just completely grinding and I can't really see why. Well, other than the fact that the shaft and bearings are just miles different. There's no obvious wear. I think it might be this piece. The shaft bearing should not be loose. Yep, 3mm here. It's fine. I mean, I checked using the gauge, I didn't measure it. So the wear is here, the wear is on this part. You probably can't, it's going to be very difficult to see. You might be able to see kind of around here and around the bottom. There's like a slightly shinier part. You can see it, I think closest best up near this finger. Unfortunately the shadows are getting in the way. Super difficult to see, yeah. It's barely, I'm not sure if it is even visible on the camera. So I wonder if this green one will be any better. Can try that. So how is this in here? This way, this way. Oh, shit. I think this one's going to be a bit better. No, none of this is printed forward. I printed all these parts on the 2.4. Only got myself to blame for this, unfortunately. Oop. Spring on this is so incredibly tight. No, still just completely binding. Oh dear, what are we going to do? The bearings do have a little bit of wiggle on the shaft. It's not a lot, but it is there. The thing is, it needs to have some because it's got to move backwards and forwards, is what they say, isn't it? But I think what I've got is more than some. Can't get this bloody thing in either. Have I just done it too tight? It's really just not clear. Ugh. Oh dear. It's not going to where it's supposed to. Did I put the PTFE tube back in? Must have done. Is that mat on there? That seems to be running very freely now, because this is not on it. Oh, I wonder if the problem is the idler. I did have a little bit of jamming actually when I was putting it together. I thought, oh, that seems a bit off. Here we go, disassemble again. You have to take this out, don't you? Oh, I've absolutely mangled the top of this PTFE tube. That's probably, it's not helping anything at all. I'm going to try again with this. Go ever so slightly shorter. Oh, I suppose I could just cut the end off. Oh, look at it, wrong place again. Oh. It's rubbing. Why the dickens is it rubbing? Okay, I'm going to try something radical. So on the, I don't know if you remember, as I went through the manual, and I pointed out that when they did, where is it? This step, was it? No. Put it here. They've got a gap in here, but it's not mentioned. See, there's a gap. Now, mine doesn't have a gap because I've got no way to measure what that gap is. But I think if I put a little bit of a gap in, that'll sort the problem. So, there's no easy way to get in there to make a gap. So what the problem I think here is, so this black gear is rubbing on this green bit. The bit that's allowing that to happen is the face that this part of the Bondtech gears is touching. So, and that is that bearing in there. So if we move this gear out very slightly this way, that will push this whole lot very slightly back that way, and that should prevent the contact. That's my theory. Now, whether that's going to work or not, I mean, it'll work, it's just whether that really solves whatever this problem is. So that's done that. We're going to put that in there. There you go. That's mostly stopped it. Trouble is now, ooh, no, it's not really, it's like flush. It's not protruding, so we're okay, I think. So, unfortunately I've now done that on the green one, I really want it on the black one, but sod it. Anything's better at this point. What am I, 2 hours 29 minutes. What else I said I was going to do today? I said I was going to do all the electrical wiring today. Oh my days. I knew this was ambitious. And turns out I was right. What's the optimism bias? The more optimistic I am, the less successful I am. It's not really a bias, that, so it won't be that. Yeah, it should be easy, but it still takes a fair bit of time. There's quite a lot of wiring. And I'm not done here yet. Oh, now this is sodding binding again. Bit of a tolerance stack up issue on the inside here, I think. Totally locked up. Oh, come on. What's going on? Don't understand at all what's going on here. It's definitely the teeth rubbing on something. I can't see for the life of me what that something is. What's on page 117? Oh, that's where I've got to. Yeah. So LDO include this drill, which I believe is intended for reaming the filament path. I'm not sure it's going to help this particular issue, but I think my paper plan was good. Maybe I just went a bit thick. Let's try going the other way. Spin it with the drill. I don't think that's going to help. Well, that was fun. Yeah, it's what if that bearing's not pressed in far enough? That could be also an issue. Didn't have a good way to press that in. I think a cap head M5 or something might help. M5 button heads. My cap head, really? Or a steel rod. Perfect. I wonder if we've got a... We tried replacing this already, didn't we? I wonder if the Z height, these are very slightly different due to the compression. Probably not significantly. Five hundredths of a millimetre. I don't think that's going to make a difference. Why is that screw not going through now? Oh, I've put that in wrong. I really do not know. Now I think it's the idler again. Like that. That seems smooth. Put the idler on it. And just like locks it up. I think the problem might be this. It's applying too much tension. It's not that much. Which back piece do you mean with the gap in the bearing? Do you mean this piece? I think the main issue is that nobody wants a 3D printer. They can't actually move, so what good printer is not so good. When you press with idler, stop pulling, so maybe front bearing not engage with the main Bondtech shaft. When you press the idler, stop spinning, so maybe this definitely an issue here, isn't there? I don't think it's rubbing on here anymore. There does seem to be a slightly ridiculous amount of tension. Trouble is that is allowing friction on there even. Maybe is that just a spring tension then? Because it does only seem to be when the idler is fitted. This I think is spinning fine, and this without being in there is also spinning fine, and applying lots of pressure doesn't seem to prevent this spinning either. So that rotation's fine. But when I put this in, it makes the whole thing jam. Now, I don't think it's alignment of that. I think that's fine. If at first you don't succeed, take pieces from another printer until you do. This screw does absolutely sod all, so there's pointless putting that in. Oh, I forgot this soldering piece. Good night, Lars. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you again soon. Yeah, I can get the same result actually now. So, blimey, how long have we been doing this? So, with no idler engaged, it's spinning completely freely. So this shaft I think is absolutely fine. If I lock this in, so it's kind of contacting, there starts to be some intermittent imperfectness. When I push on that lever, then it really just locks up. So lots of idler tension seems to lock the whole gearing. So I suspect that's what's happening with this. Oh shit. No, where's that gone? Oh my goodness. Son of a... Oh, I'm not having much luck today, am I? I'm pretty sure I watched it go in this direction and now it's disappeared. Oh, this isn't good. Oh, that's gone. Right. I just got a jammed idler. The idler is just completely locking up. It's not this. This is cut off a piece of the PTFE tube. I'm pretty sure I saw it go on the floor. I just can't see it. Oh dear. Right. Is this all modelled? What? I think this is just being jammed too far into this. But why? You can test that with some filament. That's kind of okay actually. So it binds when there's no filament in there. But that doesn't really matter. Right. So it's really difficult. The spring tension on this spring is definitely too high, I think. It's just a couple of turns in that. Let's try this. So that's fine, that's smooth. This is bizarre. I'm just still not convinced it's quite right. I'll stick this one on 2.4. We'll leave this one without. Try shorting the pin which comes from the lock piece. Oh, from this. Yeah, it's true it would work. Yeah, so cutting a little piece off of here, you can see it's intersecting. Cut a bit off there and then it'll push this bit back less and gives you less tension, but it's a bit permanent, isn't it? I think I'm going to stick with it for now. It's definitely not good, but hopefully it's okay. So remove the thumb screw, loosen the top screws and remove the back plate. M2x10 self-tapping screws. I think I just spent about an hour doing that, didn't I? I can't see myself tapping. Here we go. I think these, I feel like these the 1.5 heads are actually imperial on there. Close to 1.5 but not 1.5. Because I've had issues with them quite consistently. Tighten screws. Missing one of these, must be too short. On that one. Yeah, this one's. Oh, I've not even got the camera on there. Sorry. I'm going to use one of these shims, one of those spares. Done on the motion soft now, so presumably there's some spares. Hopefully that'll be just enough to help protect the plastic a little bit. I feel like it takes like a whole arm's strength to get the blooming thing in. It does suggest it's a little tight, doesn't it? Did we definitely do 2 add spots? Has anyone been here the whole time that can tell me if I've done 2? I think I've done 2, but I'm not totally sure. Normally I don't have troubles. Yeah. No, maybe I've only done 1. This video would not have been possible without our sponsor, LDO Motors. LDO Motors are well known for their quality stepper motors that feature in many 3D printers. But did you know they also do complete kits for VORON 3D printers? Their VORON v0.1 kit has everything you need, with the exception of the printed parts, taking sourcing from your living nightmare to the easiest part of the process. LDO's focus on quality means that you don't need to worry about component choice. This kit includes genuine Bondtech gears, Big Tree Tech control board, Phaetus hot end, pre-installed Kinovo heater with thermal fuse, stainless steel linear rails, and a beautifully anodized extrusion frame available in 7 different colours. With every kit you'll also get their brass heat insert tool, which, when fitted to a soldering iron, is the ideal partner for adding threaded inserts to your printed parts. If you're after an entryway into high-performance 3D printing, check out the VORON v0.1 kit from LDO Motors via the link in the video description, or carry on watching to find out more. Yes, so we won't be doing the wiring today. We're just going to get this finished, this extruder done now. I know I said I'd be doing that, but I don't think it's going to be viable at this point. M3x8. Oh, M3x6. There was a big fat bag of M3x8s, so where's that lot gone? Over here. Now there's thumbscrew malarkey's in the way. No, please, you promised. Yes, sod off. Oh dear. I was a little too optimistic. There are loops for zip ties on either side of the X carriage and a strain relief on the top. Cool story, bro. Okay, where are these wires then going? We should have in here, yeah, a piece of this nice spiral wrap. It's not a spiral wrap, but it's a nice cable cover, that's for sure. It's a good tight one as well. That's printer, not a sausage. This ends are a bit frayed, aren't they? Jesus, okay. Was that like that just now? I feel like this is quite a lot longer than it needs to be. Don't need that full length. We'll leave it there, I think. I don't know exactly how much we want on it, so it's going to go down in there, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Oh, good, and that's it. Cool, okay. That was a bit of an experience today, wasn't it? Oh, that goddamn extruder. Why are you so difficult to assemble? There's definitely some tolerance stack up going weird somewhere. Or that tension on the spring is just super duper high, which I think might be what it is. We'll see when we start trying to extrude stuff. If it doesn't push the plastic in the way that it's meant to, then we know that something's definitely up. Yeah, you're probably a bit late then if you've just joined. Nearly been going 3.5 hours. I'm hungry, I'm tired, and the extruder did not go well. We've done none of the wiring. Well, we've managed the extruder, so there you go. I promised to do wiring, and I've done some wiring. Some wires are on the printer. So we'll start with wiring next time. Not sure when that next time is going to be just yet. Hopefully sometime soonish. Oh yeah, we did the bed as well today. It wasn't a complete mess, but it was not easy. Someone said 3 loaves. I said 4. 4 was my goal. Clearly I was a little optimistic. It's probably going to be 5 at this stage. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm obviously stopping now. I'll see you again in the next stream. Hopefully this was useful, though, for anyone who's having troubles. You can struggle along with me. That extruder, man. Yeah, it's just not great. But the kit from LDO, unless it's that tension spring, that's not great, I think. Not totally sure if it's that. I think I'm going around in circles. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for watching. I'll see you again soon for the very next VORON live stream.